Hey folks, this is Ben Yessel. So this is part two of this trains of thoughts I have about carnivores versus vegans and food, and trying to figure out what to make of all this stuff. And what I was talking about just now was, this idea, so Verdine White, the bassist of Earth, Wind, and Fire, kind of a taller guy who's Maurice White's brother, and Verdine had, I think, a vegan diet. He attributes that diet. What's one of the reasons why he had such, um, just the level of physical, cardio endurance, the level of cardio he has, but the level he just danced around stage for hours and hours, tirelessly, right? And so he attributes a lot of that to the vegan diet, as well as with being in shape, that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. I think I know what's going on there too. But you have carnivores that have huge, big muscles, and maybe they're a little stinkier, right? Putting out that sulfurous stench, not just the broccoli stuff, it's the vegan thing, but putting out the eggy, cheesy, beefy, sweaty stench, right? All that, yeah. So, but a lot of these guys have tremendous physical power, right? Of various sizes, but look at the strongmen that are they're not necessarily just carnivores, but they're packing down that beef, and the sausage and bacon and the chicken and the eggs, and the other stuff that might have that's plant foods like oatmeal and whatever. I don't know. Oatmeal's still kind of a thing for a lot of guys. Sure. So, steel cutouts. So the thing is, energy. I remember having some collard greens one time, and some like more dark greens than I usually would have, and not too much. Maybe I had some eggs, maybe something like that. Man, I was feeling great, great. I had a lot of B vitamins going on, and I get enough sleep, and I was just. There's a lot of days like that, you know, when I feel great, but sometimes you just feel really peppy. I mean, honestly, collard greens, man, collard greens. I remember it's collard greens because kale is it's fine for you, but it's just I think I might have watercress, kale, and no, I'm sorry, I had watercress, collard greens, and um, I don't know, was it arugula or something, or a little bit of pasteurized eggs or something like that, and some sunflower seeds. I just was just like I was feeling great, tons of energy, well rested, you know, and it was I was like, oh man, I need to eat like this more often. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't because I wasn't. If you have a big greasy sausage, it's gonna, digesting that for a while in your stomach. It's certainly gonna um, help you out at the gym in terms of those weights. If you let it digest for at least an hour or so, the sausages are gonna, the eggs, especially the eggs, but all that beef and that pork and that, yeah, your muscles could use that stuff, but it's heavier food, right? It's heavy. Let's just talk about the word heavy for a second here. Heavy and heavy. Using the word heavy is a great word to use to describe animal foods. Dairy, you name it. Maybe not so much fish. Not so much fish. Kind of, but it's definitely the other ones. Fish and eggs are the lightest of the bunch, but definitely poultry, dairy, and definitely red meat. And most definitely, of all those things, uh, like, and cream is healthy. Cream is heavy. It's heavier food. You know, cream and really fatty meat, right? And lard, bacon, you know, and pork sausage. It's heavy food. And heavy food, does it make you heavier? Well, it's often said that meat helps you feel more grounded. Animal foods help you feel more grounded. Like your feet are firmly on the ground, kind of thing. This is, what's her name? Old vegan. She's not vegan anymore, but she's close to it. Like, practically vegetarian or something. I don't know. I can't remember her name. I remember, what she's like. And, so she said that, when she finally had animal foods, it helped her feel more grounded. But all those vegetables were kind of helping one's soul, spirit, whatever, body be light, be more angelic. So light on your feet. So more energy, but maybe not like, brr. So animal foods make you feel like a blob or like a brick. You're a brick house, right? You're on the ground. And those plant foods are like, oh, I'm a cloud floating above. I can just dance around all day. Be Fred Astaire. And I know I'm really being simplistic about this, but that really, in a nutshell, is how one feels when you go from these plant foods that eating plant foods. You're probably going to be on the hungry side a fair bit of the time if you're not used to it, especially. You're going to get slimmer. You're going to get skinnier. But you're going to have energy. You're going to have enough protein from the vegetables. You probably could use some more amino acids. I'm just be careful about that stuff. But you're going to be a string bean because it's light food. It's light. It makes you feel light. If you eat a lot of greasy, heavy animal foods, it's gonna make you heavy, heavy. And when you feel light, you're just happy. You're just everything is just going great. And when you eat all these heavy foods, how are you gonna feel? Heavy, heavy. Yeah, testosterone, right? Yeah, sure, it's great for testosterone, but it's like you're gonna feel. I want to go sleep for a while. Your stomach's digesting all this meat, right? Or with the fatty cheeses and stuff. So, I just it's so what I'm saying is to be so obvious. At the same time, there's so much complexity to it. Sure, it goes deep. But if you feel heavy, um, is that healthy? Well, strong. You are getting enough, muscle things, you will have more, it'll help you mentally to just focus better. I think there's definitely some mental advantages to getting those animal foods in there a little bit, sure. If you don't get, there's certain things you do need, to just have, for good mental health from animal foods, but so you need, again, just like I mentioned before, you need both. It's a question of how much of what, of different kinds. It is a question of how much of different kinds of foods you need. And again, I just, it's just, it is not, it is not a question of going with one camp or the other. But we're gonna probably often feel more if we have our heads screwed on right. We're gonna probably be more inclined to be more sympathetic to the vegans than the carnivores. Why? And I think when I say sympathetic, what I mean is it actually is more going to be the vegetarians. I don't know any vegans, but I know some vegetarians. I knew some nutritarians, but we're going to be more in that camp because we've always realized this in our lives, but we're going to just throw that crap about anti-nutrients out the window. All that ever does, it's not like your body is being limited somehow. All these things balance the body out. Think of it kind of like this way. We were meant to, we are a part of nature. humans are part of nature. If you know whether or not you believe in God, but I think you ought to believe in God. But if you don't believe in God, whatever, it's up to you. It's just that we are a part of this earth. Our bodies are part of they came from the earth. The Lord formed our bodies from the earth, and when we die, we'll go back to the earth. We, in a way, are part of this earth. I've thought about many ideas I've had of characters, different people leaving Earth through a portal to go to other worlds, and I love that idea. But some part of me is just like, we're always going to be attached to this Earth. We are from the Earth. Our bodies are. So there's some kind of link here. So because of that, it's like every part of our body, every part of it has some kind of something in common with the Earth, or it came from the Earth. It's not like we have something in our body that's not found on Earth. If you think about it, everything in our body, again, comes from some kind of mineral, vitamin, or whatever it is from the Earth. Some kind of chemical, some kind of molecule. But we want to feel light on our feet. We want to not feel weighed down in so many respects. In so many respects, we want to feel, happy. And the way to feel happy, or it's one of the things that can help you out, help anybody out. There's a lot of things that can help you feel happier. But again, one of those things is eating foods that have an effect on the body that is cleansing or cleaning out the body. You get rid of the toxins, whatever toxins are in your body. All those things in plant foods are helping your emotions, and they do. And they're helping your cells to live longer. Every part of your body is being rejuvenated. Your different senses in your body, it's like everything is being recharged. But the organs and our senses and all the vitamins, everything like that. Um, it's like these plant foods are your friends, the friends of your body. The animal so the animal foods, we eat them for other reasons. We use them for fuel. There's plant foods that are fuel foods that have more calories too, but these animal foods are great for what? For our brains and for our muscles. They don't sustain life in the way that plant foods do, but we can still use them. If I'm going to be helping my dad with yard work for the entire day, you had better believe that in the morning I'm going to have some eggs. I'm going to have some eggs. I might have a sausage or two, and my mom likes to make. She likes to make. She prefers to make the meals when I'm visiting my parents. Everything my mom makes, I'm going to eat. Everything. She makes amazing meals. She does. I just tend to have a little bit bigger meals still than my mom. But I'm probably, in addition to those eggs or whatever sausage or the salad that she makes, the water, drink water, of course drink water, but in addition to that, I might have some more nuts. I'm gonna have some nuts and have something like that. And that'll tide me over at least until lunch. Should. So, I do 3 or 4 eggs at a time. Sometimes just 2. But I 3 or 4. My mom just does 1 or 2. So that's what I'm saying. It might not be a very big meal, but the protein in that egg, those vegetables, and that sausage, whatever it is, that should tide me over until lunch. I'll be hungry for lunch, that's for sure. So sometimes my meals are so filling, at times here when they're so nutritious that I just need 2 meals a day and that's it. And if you have these really small meals, you'll definitely need 3. But yeah, I'm going to be working really hard And if I only had, if the only thing I had in the morning was a salad with some sunflower seeds on it, maybe, and the salad was just salad greens and cherry tomato and water, man, I'm gonna need a snack. If I'm working really really hard, I mean, like sweating like a dog, just and it's salad. I'm gonna burn that salad like nothing. So I'm relying on the sunflower seeds or whatever. I'm gonna probably lose some weight. Maybe that's a good thing. But I'm gonna be hungry for lunch. These are good things to think about. I don't think we think about these things enough when we talk about nutrition. It is important that we don't overeat. It's important that we don't overeat. It's so important. And we overeat. We're told to overeat by who? By bodybuilders, right? Weightlifters, because you need that. If you're going to get bigger, right? They say you're going to get bulkier, stronger. You gotta eat more, but that also requires weightlifting and all other stuff, right? Requires working out. But the fuel for those workouts is the food. And you need sleep. But again, if you're not working out, yeah, or you could work out, just eat normally, you'd be fine. Maybe you won't get massive. How long do you think Dwayne The Rock Johnson is going to live? I'm just saying, he's not that big of a guy. I mean, he's big, but he's not gigantic. And he's got pretty good sized bones. So on his frame, it's like, yeah, he could be pretty buff, but he's not ridiculously muscly. And by saying that, I'm not talking. What I'm saying is, his muscles aren't freakishly huge for his bone size. Yeah, but how long do you think that he's going to live? Well, I can promise you, if he lives past 80, oh wow, that's impressive. I don't think he's going to make it past 80. And am I saying that's because he's unhealthy? No. What I'm trying to say is his heart is working harder. His circulatory system, everything works harder, and everything works harder the bigger that you are. Everything works harder. Oh, that's a bad thing, right? Well, what about Hulk Hogan? What about Andre the Giant? Was it their fault that they were so big? No. I mean, particularly with Andre the Giant, it was such a genetic thing, right? Being that big did limit his lifespan. It was awesome how strong he was. It was awesome how big he was. He was insanely strong. He was insanely big. It's just the way he was. But it takes a toll on your body when you're that big. The toll is that you have a shorter life. I don't know. And this is Andre the Giant we're talking about. And it was, there's a lot out there about Andre the Giant. And, I love Andre the Giant. But there's a lot of things to like about him. He was a very likable person, by the way. He really was. He just had a bit of an alcohol problem, but I totally could understand that because he's so depressed. Why? Because, you know why. It's like he's a freak of nature, in a way. There are probably times when he just wanted to be like everybody else. But being the biggest and the strongest has its perks, I suppose, sure. But you feel like the odd man out still. And yeah, Hulk Hogan, though, he's still a very big guy, just not a giant. And Hulk Hogan definitely had his animal protein, that's for darn sure. But Hogan, I don't know. Anyway, you look at someone like Richard Simmons. He's still doing great for his age, I think. I don't know. Simmons is a small guy. He's small. He's smaller than I am. He's definitely skinnier than I am. I love Richard Simmons, right? Simmons is, I think he's going to live till his 90s. Dr. Joel Furman, he might live till he's past 100. These are not big guys. These are skinny guys, or like they're smaller to medium height. Being small helps you live longer. That's a good thing. But maybe we're not as strong and big. Are we less healthy because we're smaller? No. You see, what I'm trying to say is it's like this yin yang thing, or it's like everything has its opposite. Everything has its opposite. And everything, I do mean everything has its opposite. There's good and there's evil. There's night, there's day. You know, there's sweet foods and there's bitter foods. There's sour and there's salty. There's really strong and there's skinnier guys. There's tall and there's short. You know, there's black and there's white. There's male and there's female. We need both. We need both in this world. Why would, why do we need both plants and animal foods? Because they both do things for our bodies that we would have a hard time getting any other way. But we absolutely do need plant foods. If you guys tell me of a carnivore, this carnivore thing has just been more recent. If you know of a carnivore in the future that lives to a ripe old age, I want to know. Because I bet you that carnivore was sneaking in some spices and stuff like that. Garlic and cinnamon or something like that. And they're definitely staying away from a lot of stuff that's less healthy in the plant world. But I'm talking about the manufactured stuff, the sugary stuff, right? It's just not going to happen. Meat does age you. So the more that you eat, it's going to age you. Period. What's the stuff that ages you the least in the animal food world? Eggs and fish. What's the stuff that ages you the most? Meat that is low quality, especially. And dairy. But Mr. Rogers had dairy, but he didn't have the meat. Mr. Rogers is in great shape when he's older. But maybe he didn't overdo the dairy. It's just like, yeah. Mr. Rogers wasn't a big guy. I think he was in the armed forces. He was actually pretty tough. A lot of people that are very strong and agile and athletic are not super big and muscular. They're just gaunt and lean. Or even if they're more sedentary. It's not like most people are not complete couch potatoes. And a lot of people are kind of depressed. So that's why they're more sedentary. Or semi-depressed. Or whatever. It's not the healthiest way of being. But so many people talk about health, by the way, without thinking about the emotional things that are going on with people. That really burns me. That burns me across the board. That's another thing too, which is a little bit different topic what we're talking about here. But this factors in because, how many people are watching these health videos? And they're just thinking, these people don't care about me. Why would I listen to somebody that just doesn't care about me? Why? Everybody wants to be heard, and nobody wants to listen. Everybody wants to be heard. Well, a lot of people want to be heard, especially online. But nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to be a friend. Everybody wants friends. But nobody wants to be a friend. That's a problem. You see, that's an imbalance. It's another kind of imbalance. And we wonder why so many people are depressed. Well, they're depressed because, and it's affecting their health negatively. It's all of us. We're all in the same boat. And, we're kind of sad because, well, heck, we don't feel valued. On some level, for some people, this is a very, very real thing I'm talking about now. Very real thing. And the only joy that they get in life is from their donut. The donuts are cookies. That's it. There's nothing else to live for. They're TV shows and their junk food. And we wonder why video after video and nutrition tip after nutrition tip and all these things we're telling them. And there's a lot of truth to what we're saying. But it bounces right off of them. Why is that? Why is it that never sinks in? Because there's some fundamental things going on with people. We're all human. They're not being met. And they're not being met because people are not treating them like fellow human beings. They should be loved and respected and be friends with and included in stuff. And it's a basic, and it's part of human health. It's a part of this discussion of animal plant foods. And the more people act this way, how is it even remotely even defensible? I'm listening to Frank, listening to Vegetable Police, listening to all these people. These are great guys. These are good guys. I like him. But Vegetable Police himself, Casey Stern, I know he's going to say this. He's the goofy guy he is. He's mentioned this very thing before on some level. He's like, guys, would you just stop this bad attitude stuff, this argument? It's just I can guarantee. I haven't seen a whole lot of Frank's videos. Frank is a little bit different personality. He kind of just gets to the point, and he, sure, I get it, but if anybody can tell you about toxic conversations, along with Vegetable Police, it's also Frank. Imagine the grief he had to go through. He still goes through. I think he recently became omnivore. I don't know. I can't keep up with this stuff sometimes. And he's tried so hard to be healthy. And he is healthy. Sure. Maybe he's going to have some more vegetables these days. I don't know. Berries or whatever he thinks is best. But what I'm trying to say, along with we need both animal and plant foods in their place, we need to have more plant foods than animal foods. But what that equates to is more of a half and half, because animal foods are more calorically dense. So it just works out to be, But if you really want to, you can really go hardcore on the plant foods. You can increase your lifespan. Sure, but only have the minimum you need for muscles and brain stuff. That's fine. But you're not going to age your body as much. You're going to probably eat less. You're going to be more chill, right? That's great. You're not going to overwork your heart. You're not going to get all flustered and sweaty and stinky, right? That's great. But beyond that, part of happiness is being connected with other people. And, these food addictions have something to do with feeling sad. We feel sad and depressed at some level. So we go to food. And until this is, but the solution is, that person, you need to stop eating this junk food. You need to go out and make some friends, meet some new people, do some new things. Well, that's easy for you to say. Why don't you be this person's friend? Well, they're not my type, or I've never said that. I've never wanted anybody to be forced to be friends with somebody. But the ultimate solution is being more connected. Everybody's more connected. Everybody, we want everybody to be part of the human group. This is a deeply spiritual thing. It's deeply emotional. It's everything. This is the culmination of everything here. Because when somebody is indeed separate from society, Vin Diesel, I know he's a muscly guy. He's very, very big, powerful. He played Riddick. Oh, he did. And we just loved what kind of character that Riddick had. But Riddick, man, he was a recluse. He didn't want anything to do with anybody. That's not a healthy way of being, no matter how strong you are. And that was part of his whole character. I think Vin Diesel would readily say that himself. But there were reasons why Riddick did what he did, why he felt the way he felt. Makes perfect sense to me. People are full of crap, sure, a lot of times, yeah. But there are still good people out there, and that was when somebody said that they would give their life for Riddick. Well, that got to him, made him think. we need to be more for real with each other. We need to try to be kinder to each other. We need to try to be more friends with each other. Why would we think the opposite? And that's a part of human health, by the way. It's all connected. You can call it Eastern, you can call it Western, you can call it Buddhism, you can call it being LDS, whatever you want to call it. It's still true. And we can't ignore people like they've been ignored. I'm including the elderly here. Nobody should be ignored. When people are ignored, COVID-19, man, has a negative impact on someone's health. It always does. Who is responsible for that? Well, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about what we ought to be doing in our lives to help not only ourselves but others be happy. And by the way, for all these LDS folks watching this, it's not just about your personal salvation. It's about everybody going back to heaven, as many people as we possibly can get. And if you're not interested in helping other people go to heaven, I don't even know if you're going to heaven. I'll put it that way. Because there's no room for selfishness. There's no room for just this ego thing. It's not going to work out. It's all going to be for naught. It's going to be self-serving at some point. And I will defend that to my dying day. If somebody is super healthy in everything they do, and they're just all about their own life, this is across the board. I'm going to have to wrap this video up, sorry. It's not a good way of being. Catch you later. Take care.